Marxist philosophy holds that the future is bright, while the road ahead is tortuous. This also applies to the Communist Party of China, CPC, which believes in Marxism. In 1933, Chiang Kai-shek, the then rival of the CPC, mobilized 1 million troops, acted as the commander-in-chief himself, and hired a large number of German military experts as consultants to draw up war plans. He also purchased large quantities of arms with huge loans from the United States and Britain, greatly improving the equipment performance of his troops. All this was supposed to fight against the then only 12-year-old CPC. At that time, Mao Zedong lost his leadership and command of the army. The actual leader, Bo Gu, relied heavily on leader Otto Braun, the military advisor from the Communist International. However, Li was a foreign revolutionary. He did not know the actual conditions in China at all, but only borrowed the regular warfare experience from the Soviet Red Army, which led to the defeat of the war. The army led by the CPC was finally forced to carry out a strategic transfer, known as the Long March. It was later proved that the arduous Long March revived the army. During the Long March, the CPC's army fought all the way and finally broke through encirclement by Chiang's troops. The ragged and hot-headed Red Army fought bitterly at the Xiangjiang River, made 4 crossings of the Qushui River, fought their way across the Dadu River, and seized the Luding Bridge. The army climbed over snow-capped mountains, trekked across vast grasslands, and finally joined forces to defeat the enemy and establish New China. In the early 1960s, American journalist Edgar Snow asked Mao Zedong, "What's the darkest moment in your life?" Mao replied that it was the conflict between him and Jiang Guotao in 1935 during the Long March. At that time, after the 1st and 4th Front Armies joined forces, Jiang refused to implement the Central Committee's policy of marching north, insisting on going south, and tried to split the party and the Red Army to see a big picture and to resolve the adversity of the Red Army as soon as possible. Mao Zedong had to lead the Central Authority and the Third Front Army up the north overnight, when later the deputy chief of the Fourth Front Army, who was worked up, came together with a team of fully armed cavalry. Mao Zedong showed a very calm expression and said that they could go south and that he believed they would meet again in the future. "We are all from the Red Army and from the Communist Party of China. We are a big family and will never fight against each other. Now everyone who'd like to go north could follow the CPC Central Committee, and the rest could go back with Jiang Guotao. We'll meet again in the future." Mao Zedong said, "With no precedent in recorded history, the Long March issued a manifesto, spread a message, and planted a seed."
面对正义和邪恶2种力量的交锋，光明和黑暗2种前途的抉择，中国共产党始终团结群众，依靠群众，以自己的模范行动赢得人民的真心支持。广大人民群众是长征胜利的力量源泉。在长征途中，中国共产党还推动了抗日民主统一战线的形成。中国人民群众深刻地认识到，中国共产党 是为人民谋利益的党，红军是人民的军队。长征的胜利宣传了中国共产党的主张，播撒下革命的火种，扩大了中国共产党的影响，使中国共产党与人民的联系更加紧密。
The Long March has become a spiritual symbol of the CPC. Hence comes the Long March spirit. What is the Long March spirit then?
2016年10月，在纪念红军长征胜利80周年的大会上，中共中央总书记习近平对长征精神做了概括。他说，伟大的长征精神就是把全国人民和中华民族的根本利益看得高于一切，坚定的革命理想和信念，坚信正义事业必然胜利的精神，就是为了救国救民，不怕任何艰难险阻，不惜付出一切牺牲的精神，就是坚持独立自主、实事求是、一切从实际出发的精神，就是顾全大局、严守纪律、紧密团结的精神，就是紧紧依靠人民群众，同人民群众生死相依、患难与共、艰苦奋斗的精神。
Looking back on the Long March, we can clearly see that it is not only a great expedition of human spirit and willpower, but also a great journey for the Chinese people to seek the rejuvenation of their nation under the leadership of the CPC. Following the past footprints, each Chinese generation has its own long march, and each generation should proceed with its own long march.